What's up guys, my name is Amir. Welcome back to the channel, and today I have a very special product for you. If you're looking for a phone in the mid-range price segment and you want an absolutely stacked spec sheet, you're gonna wanna see this. This is the Poco X3 NFC. This phone's launching in Pakistan today at a price of 42,000 rupees, and there is an early bird discount of 1,000 rupees starting on the 5th of October, and there are also surprise gifts if you pre-order on Daraz or mestore.pk. Internationally, the Poco X3 starts at around $270 or 230 pounds or euros depending on where you're watching this video. Now, competition at this price point is extremely tough, but this phone has an ace up its sleeve, or should I say a few aces up its sleeve, because this phone gives you a high refresh rate display, a very powerful gaming processor, stereo speakers, a big battery, really fast charging. But we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and unbox this phone. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on future videos. So here we have the Poco X3 NFC box. Let's go ahead and open it. The variant launching in Pakistan is with 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. Now, the first thing you find in the box is this folder, which has a SIM ejector tool, some user manuals, and this silicone protective case. Now, moving on, here's the handset. Our device today is in the shadow gray color, but this phone also comes in cobalt blue. And this gray color is a mix of charcoal and navy, and I think it looks really nice. So starting with the design, we have this reflective plastic back, which has Poco written on it in this big font. The frame is made of aluminium and there is Gorilla Glass 5 on the front. The phone comes with a pre-applied screen protector, and it does feel a little chunky in the hand because of that big battery, and I really like that. There's a fair bit of a camera bump at the back as well, but it's easily covered with the silicone case provided in the box. Now, talking about button placement and ports, on the right side we have the volume keys, under which there is this power button, which also doubles as this phone's fingerprint sensor. The speed of this sensor is okay-ish. This one takes a moment to unlock the phone, and I've definitely seen faster ones before. On the left side of the phone is the SIM tray, while on the bottom we have a headphone jack, USB Type-C port, mic, and a speaker grill. Moving on to the cameras, the Poco X3 has a quad camera setup on the back. So there's a 64 megapixel wide-angle main camera with an aperture of f1.9, and this is a Sony IMX682 quad Bayer sensor. Along with this, there's a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. And on the front, we have a 20 megapixel selfie shooter. Now, the back camera supports a maximum of 4K video at 30 frames per second, and this phone can also do slow-mo, so you can do 120 frames per second at full HD 1080p and up to 960 frames per second at 720p. I'm going to go ahead and use this phone for a few days and then report back with the camera analysis in the full review. Looking at this sensor and knowing that this Sony IMX682 is slightly bigger than the Samsung GW1 sensor, I think this camera is going to perform pretty well at this price point. Then we have a 6.67-inch Full HD IPS LCD display. This resolution and display size combine to put out almost 400 pixels per inch, which is very crisp. And for the selfie camera, we have a centralized hole punch cutout on top of the display. But the best feature of this display, and also of the phone itself, is that this display has a high refresh rate of 120 Hz and a touch sampling rate of 240 Hz. This is the first phone that I've seen at this price point with a 120 Hz display. And this high refresh rate will really improve your experience of the phone. When you're navigating the menus or scrolling pages, you will feel this buttery smoothness. And these high refresh rate panels also make your phone feel faster and more responsive. At this price point, to have a high refresh rate panel like this is a big win in my book. Moving on, let's talk about the specifications. And here too, we have, like I said earlier, a stacked spec sheet. So we have a Snapdragon 732G chipset along with an Adreno 618 GPU. And I think this is the first phone with this chipset, and its performance is slightly better than the Snapdragon 730G because this time the GPU gives 15% better performance. Alongside this, there's 6 gigs of RAM, and this phone comes with either 64 gigs or 128 gigs of UFS 2.1 storage, which is expandable via the hybrid SIM slot. So this phone can take either 2 SIMs or 1 SIM and a micro SD card. Now, this Snapdragon 732 is another big win for this phone in my book. You usually see this type of processing power in much higher priced phones, and it's going to take everything you throw at it. Heavy apps, heavy games, it's just going to destroy. PUBG will easily run on high settings. Same with COD Mobile. I mean, just look at these benchmarks. And powering all of this is a massive 5160 mAh battery along with 33 watts of fast charging, which according to Xiaomi will charge this phone fully in just over an hour. And as if that wasn't enough, this phone also has dual stereo speakers, which is a feature that you rarely see outside of the premium flagship range. And talking about rare features, I've also noticed the haptic feedback on this phone, and while it's not flagship grade, this phone does a very good job of simulating or trying to simulate that gentle click that you feel usually with premium and flagship phones. I really like that when you're scrolling around the menus and when you get to the end of a menu or something like that, the phone will gently send out a vibration click and you will get that premium sort of phone feeling that you usually get. I really like that. I personally think that it's little touches like that that really enhance your overall experience. The Poco X3 comes with Android 10 with Xiaomi's own MIUI 12. Now this interface does come with some bloatware, but you can uninstall unwanted apps. And now you also get an app drawer by default, and the interface feels a bit more stock than it did before. Now last time I felt like this while covering a phone was when I was reviewing the original Poco phone, the first one that came out, and that was a blockbuster success. And I think the Poco X3 is also continuing on with that same tradition. Very rarely do you see phones that check so many boxes. And while I reserve my final opinion for the full review, if you are thinking of buying this phone, I would suggest hurry up and go ahead and buy it because this phone is going to sell like hotcake. Let me have your thoughts on the Poco X3 in the comment section below. Do you think that this could be the new mid-range king of phones? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it. That'll be it for this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.